Hey, everybody. This week's episode is a partial recording of one of our Elevate Mastermind meetings where we had a guest speaker, Corey Hayden, and he was sharing the secret to his success in land flip deals. And so he shared details of how he did marketing, what exactly his postcards looked like when he sent the mailers out, how he dealt with sellers, how he handles those phone calls, how he negotiates and closes. And so all the details of how he's made well over $200,000 in land flip deals. And this is a key section of that interview. So enjoy.
So I want Corey to introduce himself, but we met a couple years ago trying to do a deal out in North Carolina that he and I and Scott couldn't get across the finish line. It was a crazy mobile home park. But in that process, it just taught me a lot about who he is. I always tell you guys, when you do a deal with somebody, that really begins to tell you what kind of person they are. And so Corey and I kind of had a relationship, more just kind of, learning, watching. And then I started watching him, and he kind of created an Instagram account and started talking about land, which is the same thing that I do as single family, which is what he was doing. He was wholesaling. And I don't want to steal any of his, so I'll let him talk a little bit before we start asking questions. So, but anyway, I just watched him from a distance. I've been impressed with his work ethic, impressed with his keep going attitude, regardless of how many deals he presses through. And now he's starting to try to document his journey and what's taking place. And to me, he's an example of somebody who has a job, but and I'll let him tell you about what that is. But was already doing this flipping, wholesaling with homes and land while becoming what he is today. So I've just been impressed with that, because most people come up with excuses. If I have a job, then I can't do real estate investing. So he scratches that itch as well. So, and then I plan on having him here for about 30 minutes. And then if it goes crazy and you guys want to keep going, that's fine. If not, no worries. And then we'll do the back end of our goods, bads, and if we still have a hot seat. Is that cool?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
So Corey, just kind of introduction of who you are, what you do, and then go into a little bit of your journey, and I'll ask questions along the way.
Okay. Yeah. So my name's Corey Hayden. I live in Sharon, Texas, right outside of Houston, about 25 minutes. Currently, I'm a police officer. That's my full time, my W-2, we'll call it. I work night shift, so I work from 9 p.m. to 7 in the morning. So I'm like perpetually tired. I'm tired all the time. That kind of sucks, but I also flip land on the side. I met Chris back, I think, like he said, about 2.5 years ago. And Chris, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was thinking about this just the other day. I was like, man, me and Chris have been talking for 2.5 years pretty consistently, and we've never closed a deal together. So I'm like, we got to make some money together.
Well, we only did that. We just started marketing for your land, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah, no, but I flip land. I started off like everybody, I think, trying to wholesale houses because of the YouTube gurus and all the big money dreams and all that. And I kind of stumbled into a land deal. I'm gonna make it simple. I mean, we contracted it for $75,000. My mentor closed on it with hard money, and we flipped it on the MLS for $175,000 about a month later. So overall, it was like a $68,000 profit land flip. We didn't do anything. There was nothing that had to be fixed. There was no tenants, no roof, no nothing. And it was crazy easy, just to be honest with y'all. And I thought, wow, I just made $27,000, on this deal that probably took me 2 hours of my time. And yeah, I've just been flipping land. I've been hooked ever since. So I've just been flipping land ever since.
So real quick, you've been in the police academy. It's not like you've been a cop that long. So you were doing all of this while going through the academy, correct?
Yes and no. So the academy and training and all that, getting like prepared to get out on my own took about 8 months of 2022. And yeah, during that time, I was still doing a little bit of marketing, but truthfully, I was 95% of my focus was on just getting through all of the police academy stuff. But 2021 was my first year in the land business, we'll say, where I was doing that full time. And doing that full time, I was able to generate like 220,000 ish dollars.
One thing you'll push about Corey, if you follow his Instagram or whatever, he is not flashy. He just wants to be very real. He wants to be very opposite of what you see on the internet. But he does really have a desire to help. He even calls out the young ones who don't want to work hard, to do this business. So talk a little bit about this. You work 9 p.m. till 7 in the morning. Then how do you do marketing? How are you available? What type of marketing do you do?
Yeah, so I do mail, and I tell people this. If you don't have the money, let's say, or a marketing budget to send out mail, because mail is, I guess, more on the expensive side of marketing, then you got to cold call, or you got to send out text messages, or you've got to be combing the MLS. You've got to just be putting in the time, trying to find the deals with little or no money. Now, I tell people also, if you do have the money, maybe you've got a nice savings account or something like that, and you can afford to spend a couple $1,000s on a nice big mailer, and send out 4,000 or 5,000 postcards, then go ahead and do that. But I mean, it takes on average, it takes about 3 months of mail to really get deals in your pipeline, and start to see the buildup of leads to work with and stuff like that.
So tell us kind of your regular routine of mail. What are you doing and how much does it cost? And how does that work?
Yep, I keep it really simple. I sit down the first week of every month. Usually it's on the second or the third. And I send out my mailing campaign on click2mail.com. That's click, the number 2, and then mail. I send postcards. It's a double-sided white and black postcard, nothing fancy. If anybody wants it, I'll send you a picture of it after this. And it costs about 50 cents per postcard. So if you've got a list of 2,000 people, it's going to cost you about $1,000 to send that mailer.
And how many do you send out on that second or third day of the month?
I've been sending out 4,000. I send them out all at once. The entire campaign goes out all at once, and then my phone starts ringing probably the week after.
Okay. And so working 9 to 7, obviously you got to find time to sleep. How does that work? I mean, how are you connecting with these buyers? Are you asleep and they're leaving a message, or are there days that you're choosing to stay awake? Tell us a little bit of how that works.
So truthfully, I'm not sleeping much at all. I'm like tired all the time. I probably get 3 hours of sleep a day right now, which is not good, but I mean, I'm kind of young, so I guess I can do it. And then also I'm off since we work 10-hour shifts. I get 3 days off every week. So I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I don't go in until Friday at 8 p.m. So really I've got time, 3 days out of the week, I can put my full effort and attention into, following up with leads, making offers, researching properties, calling people, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So a call comes in, how does it normally go? I mean, you're getting calls, so I'm guessing you're answering voicemails on those days that they're calling and you're not available. But how is that going? Out of 4,000, I mean, how many, you said usually, I've talked to you before, about a week to 10 days, you're going to get a lot of phone calls. How many do you think you kind of are getting in that?
Yeah, so it really just depends. I'll say this, I just sent out a mailer last week and I got 10 phone calls in the last 2 days, so about 5 a day. But you're going to get the heaviest volume of calls, that first week. After that, it starts to trickle. You might get 1 here, 2 there. And by the third week of the month, I mean, you're lucky to get 5 or 6 calls in the week, if that.
And you're okay with that because you're trusting the process?
Yeah, I just know that in time, I mean, it's a good story, this one. I sent out 8,000 postcards in the month of January, actually. I had never done that before, but I said, you know what, let's let's get crazy and let's send out a lot of mail and just see what happens. And I had gotten 73 phone calls, and 69 of those people had already said no, like I wasn't getting any deals. I'd spent all the money. I thought, man, this is crazy. And the 70th, when that 70th person called me, it was like a home run deal. Like it was like, I'm working through some title issues right now, but they're very solvable. And if I am able to solve them and get the deal across the finish line, it should be like a $50,000 deal. So